Today I'm taking you guys through Canoe Restoration 101, as this is also part of my school personal project, but it's also a video that I'm going to be sharing with you guys on my YouTube channel. This canoe that my dad's scrubbing down right now is one that we found basically abandoned and forgotten in an alleyway in our community, and I thought I could restore this. Canoeing is something I've always enjoyed, which is another reason I thought this restoration project would be good for me to do for my school personal project as well. Here we're basically applying this glue out of this glue gun here. It's like some marine glue that's waterproof, because waterproof is important when you're building a canoe. Of course, you don't want water to get here. We've already glued it up and we're clamping it down so that I have a really tight seal between that wood and the fiberglass. The reason that's important is because you really want that wood to be tight, otherwise it can pop off, and you really want that glue to be just squeezing out of there. A lot of clamps is really important because the curvature of the wood makes it so that you need a lot of clamps. Otherwise, the wood could just pop off and we wouldn't have a tight seal. So we're putting out on a ton of clamps, and I think once we're done, the number is going to be like over 40 clamps. So if you don't have clamps, canoe restoration might not be up your alley. I'm sure there's another way to do this. Maybe you could buy some bent gunwales that are easier to work with, but we had to bend them ourselves using a blowtorch and some PVC pipe. And I'll kind of show you some pictures and explain that process later. But as you can see, we're just throwing on any clamps that we have in our garage. But just to give you a picture of like what we're doing, we're basically putting these two thin pieces of wood on either side of the fiberglass and then capping that off with a little bit of a wider piece of wood. And be in mind, this wood is cedar, which is why we were able to bend it. Um, you couldn't do this with most types of wood, especially hardwood. You need a softer wood that you can get moist and then bend it. But back to what I was saying, basically envision the two gunwales as like a peanut butter sandwich. We're basically squeezing the fiberglass on either side, and we're gluing it down and then screwing those two sides together and then gluing on that cap. And this is the finished product of one of them. Of course, we're still going to sand down some of those rough edges and pieces and put some varnish on there to make the wood even more waterproof, because if water soaks in there, that's going to add some unnecessary weight that we don't want. But basically, just to give you that picture of pretty much what we're doing to get this canoe restored. There is a few bad patches in the hull. As you can see, there's been some repairs by some previous someone that has tinkered with this thing, but the hull seemed to be in good shape, so we didn't do any fixes to the hull except for a little bit of spray paint, and the hull seemed to be just overall in pretty good shape. And the shape of the hull was really cool because it was a very aerodynamic canoe that sat low in the water. So I thought this canoe is going to be fast, and that's why it kind of caught my eye. That just the shape of the hull seems kind of fast. So I don't know, maybe I'll do some canoe racing with it. Something I've never tried, but it might be pretty cool.
Building up a nice finish, so.
As I'm putting on this last coat of varnish here, I just want to thank my dad for helping me out. He was an awesome help, and he just knew all the answers to all my questions, and I'm grateful for that. And hopefully next video we'll get it out on the water.